We ended last time talking about natural selection. We did the peppered moth simulation to look at natural selection. And we stopped with the concept of a single individual can't evolve. It has to be a group. Okay? Can it be 5 or 6? Is that still considered a population? Yes or no? As long as what? You have to have at least one of each sex. You have a male and a female. Does the population move on without a male and a female? Nope. It'll cease to exist. So today we're going to dive a little bit more into that natural selection. And we're going to look at how it happens and different ways it happens. Okay? So we have what's called a normal distribution graph. And yes, graphs. I know you love them. Got to be able to read them. Okay? Normal distribution graph, a bell curve graph. Okay? Means that we have extremes on each end. Alright, because there's only a few of those. And the middle is the average. That's a normal distribution. Alright. When we look at your grades, and I tell you the class average was a 2.5. Where's that 2.5 fall on this graph? It's your mean. It's your average. That means we got some that were really high or really low, some that were really high. But that's going to be your extremes. Okay? Frequencies decrease towards the extreme. Alright? If really high test score was the average, would this graph look like this? No, this end would be higher. Okay? So we would see a increase towards that. We don't. We see a decrease towards each extreme in a normal distribution graph. Okay? This graph represents traits that are not undergoing natural selection. Everything is right. Everybody, the ones in the middle are good. The ones that have something to the extreme are bad. They're not going to survive. Okay? Because it was really hot in here? Well, that's just you. Alright. Natural selection. Remember I said that normal distribution is no natural selection. Natural selection changes that graph. It selects for a certain shift, for extreme. Okay? So, it moves that graph. So we had our normal graph was right here. Okay? Something happened. We have natural selection going on in this example. And instead of the average being what's expected, what is now expected? The high extreme. So the graph shifts. Okay? It changes everything. Because now what's the norm? What's the normal? It used to be here. What is it now? It's moved towards the high level extreme. What's that do for the people, the organisms that were functioning at the low level? They're gone. Right? They have been selected out. Okay? Alright. Second one is stabilizing selection. Stable means we want the average. Okay? If you look at your test grades, again, I'm going to use that as an example. I said the average is a 2.5. If all of you made a 2.5, would that be okay? Be right down the middle. That would mean nobody would make a 0.2, nobody would make a 4. That's stabilizing selection. Everything in the middle. Okay? That you see the norm pinch in because we have more organisms in the middle, less of the extreme. Okay. Last one, or Yep. Last one is disruptive. Disruptive means we want both extremes are what's seen. The norm is not what we see. Okay. We see a very few of the ones in the middle. We see a high level of each extreme. They call this graph a camel hump. I hope you can understand why. Camels have two humps. You got one on each extreme. All right. Means we are favoring that. So in this environment, we have different colors of birds. Which ones are favored? The brown and the blue. Anything intermediate between those two colors is not favored. It means that something there is causing the ones in the middle to be selected out. All right, so if it was yellow, red, those are getting selected out. What could be an example of why these two would survive but not another color? What could be an example? What?
The brown one can like fit in shrubs.
All right. Brown color works with certain things that live there. Maybe there's certain trees there that have brown leaves.
Bright colors scare animals.
Okay. Well, not necessarily. When you're looking at predators that eat birds like this, bright colors are easily seen. That's the ones they go after. These two can blend in a little more. All right? If this guy flies over a lake and there's a large predator flying over him, is he going to see him? No, because he blends in with the water. If this guy is sitting in a tree, is a predator going to be able to see him? No. But if it's a yellow-breasted whatever, and it's got this big yellow dot on the center of it, yeah, there's a target. Go get it. Okay. So that we see that to where the extremes now are favored and the ones that are in the middle aren't. Okay? So, in a population of birds, medium beak size is selected against and smaller large beaks are favored. So, the middle, the average is gone. Smaller large are what we want. What type of selection is that? Is it directional, stabilizing, disruptive? It is disruptive. We are favoring the extremes. Give me a reason why that could be. Why would we want small and large but not medium? Whatever food source, like you said, whatever food source is there. Maybe the small beaks can reach into something and get food. The large beaks could break that open and get food, but the medium can't do either. All right? Does that make sense of why natural selection would want that to happen? Okay. Question about those graphs. All right, natural selection is not the only thing that affects populations. We have a few other things. We'll get to one or two today, and the rest of them on Friday. Gene flow. What's the word flow mean? If a river flows, what does that mean? Movement. All right? Movement of alleles between populations. Remember, we said you have a gene pool within a population. Well, those genes can move from one population to another. All right? If we have two groups of penguins, two populations of penguins, and two or three of them get separated from one and end up with another one, their genes join that pool. All right? That's new genes being introduced. The gene pool has changed. We have had genetic flow from one place to another. All right? Example here in your notes, new fish from one school swims off and joins a different school of fish. Does he have the same genes that are in that new gene pool? No. What did he do to the gene pool now? He made more genes, more variation. All right? Quit with the pencil and get out. Gene flow keeps neighboring populations similar. All I got that door, it's a bad choice. Keeps them similar because genes flow back and forth. Okay? You think about to those neighboring schools of fish. Are the fish going to stay with one group? All right? So we have two groups of fish, and a larger fish comes in after one group. What's going to happen? That group's going to split up. Are they going to rejoin? They're going to find all their people and rejoin them, or are they just going to get with the group that's wherever?
Get with the group of
Yeah. So the genes keep flowing back and forth. All right. Keeps a lot of variation in there. Low gene flow increases the chances that two populations will evolve into different species. All right. If you don't have genes flowing back and forth between populations, those populations become their own. All right. Why do we have, use this example again, why do we have so many different breeds and types of cattle? Because they separate and they adapt and they stay with their own kind. There's not gene flow back and forth. They become their own breed, their own species. Okay? Happens on a larger level. Look at all the bears we talked about at the beginning. All the different types of bears. Why are they all different? Can they interbreed? Yes. But do they? No, they've become their own species and they stay with their own now because they evolved. All right. Genetic drift, you had gene flow, now we have genetic drift, is a change in those frequencies we talked about, but this is just a random event. Okay? A random event. Causes loss of biodiversity. Okay? If, example for this, you have a group of bugs on the floor. What's your first thought to do to those bugs? Yeah. You take your big old foot and you squish them. Well, if you squish half of them, did you just change the allele frequency or change the gene pool of that group of bugs? You eliminated some genes. They're gone. They're dead. So you've changed them. Is that something that naturally happens, or was that just a random thing? It's a random thing. Okay? You have changed the diversity of that group. All right? More common in small populations, like with bugs, insects. All right? And then you have what we call bottleneck effect, to where only certain organisms move on. Okay, something happens. Like I said, you step on that group of bugs. You're not actually sitting there looking at those bugs saying, okay, I'm only going to kill the green ones. Or I'm only going to kill the red ones. No, I'm going to kill everything I can. That's a random event. Whatever's left is left. Okay? Bottleneck effect is when it drastically reduces the population size. Could this be from disease? Yeah. Disease can almost wipe out the population. There's only a few left. Does it change the gene pool of that population?
Yes.
Does it change the diversity?
Yes.
All right? You've changed that disease has changed that organism. Okay? All right. Colonization of small populations can lead to genetic drift. We call it the founder effect. What's it mean to find something? We had people that found this country, found this land. There was a new colony of people that moved in here way back when. Same with organisms. Occurs when a few individuals start a new population. We have an example here. On the left side, we got red, yellow, blue. We got all kinds of flowers growing over there. On the right side, there was no flowers, or just yellow. And then this bird starts eating the flowers, and as he's going, do they eat everything?
No.
What happens? They drop stuff, they drop seeds, they take number 2 and seeds are in there. And then what happens in this new area? A whole new population of flowers grow. Okay? Is it something that they choose to do? Not necessarily. All right? What happens if you have a population of organisms and you have an earthquake that splits the land open? And a couple of them get stuck on one side, the rest are on the other side. Are those few on that one side just going to say, screw it, I'll just die?
No.
No, they're going to start a new population. And they start growing, they go making their gene pool bigger and bigger, and eventually you have 2 populations. Okay? That does have negative effects as well. Alright? Less likely to have individuals that can adapt. Because what happened to your variation of your gene pool? It's decreased significantly. So they're not going to be as likely to adapt and survive certain things that happen. Alright? Harmful alleles can become more common because you don't have a large gene pool anymore. You have what's there. What's there is what's there. Okay? So I'll use this example already. You got a group of bugs, reds or browns and greens. Are you going to sit there and look at them and say, I'm only going to step on the green ones? Say you have a group of ants. Can you even tell the difference in the ants? No, you're just going to kill them. Whatever you kill, you kill. What you don't, you don't. That's a random chance. But like with this example, what has happened to the alleles from the green bug? You have significantly, this big foot here, has significantly decreased the odds of that green bug moving on. Okay? Because if those brown ones don't carry any green alleles, this is the last one. When he dies, what's going to happen? The green is gone. Okay? Negative effects. Make sense? What time is it? Okay. So we're going to get one more here. Sexual selection occurs when certain traits increase mating success. This happens in humans as well. You just don't realize it. That you're attracted to certain things. You don't realize it. It's just a built-in natural thing in animals. All right? You're attracted to certain things. Sexual selection occurs due to higher cost of reproduction for females. In the natural world, females get to choose their mates because they are the ones making the babies. They want the babies to survive, so they are going to choose mates who's going to give them the best chance of their babies being productive and surviving. Okay? Not always true with humans. So, sexual selection. Ever seen this happen? Ever seen bighorn sheep fight? All right. Is this a competition to where whoever wins gets the girl? Not really. It's not. It's whoever wins looks better to the girl, but the girl still gets to choose who they're going to breed with. All right. I've seen it in a deer hunt, seen stuff like this. I'll show y'all some videos probably Friday about this stuff. And I've seen big deers, little deer, big one beats the crap out of the little one, and guess what? The female, the doe, walks off with the little one. I'm like, why did we do all that then? The big guy's going, what the heck just happened? Guys, doesn't that happen? You know, he's like, man, what the heck just happened? She walked away with him. All right? So competition, they do compete. These guys actually knock themselves cuckoo. They hit so hard that it knocks them cuckoo for a few seconds. I've got some videos I'll show you Friday. Okay. Intersexual selection. Males have this big old display. They show off for the female. This happens in humans. Guys showing off all the time for girls. Girls are like, yeah, whatever. In the back of their mind, when you don't think about, they're going, ooh. All right. Peacocks are prime example. All right. You get this big plumage, big tail feathers with the shimmery eyes, and it's almost like it puts the females in a trance, because all those eye spots, they have a certain reflective quality, and when that male peacock moves his tail, they shimmer, and it basically puts the female in the trance. They're like, oh, that's beautiful. So, if you're a peacock with only a few eye spots, are you going to get the female? No. The ones that have a lot are going to get the female. Okay? Make sense? Like I said, I've got some videos I'll show you of this with rams and deer. And